Welcome to the Pelle, Neroth, Taylor and Martin Sieff Show, Capitals Uncovered. We talk about geopolitics and much else from both sides of the pond. We've got Jeremy Cordon with us today, who's founder and CEO of Goldback Incorporated, which is basically, I'm not an economist, but just which means that I can channel the audience general views about. Well, Jeremy's going to tell us all about it, but basically, a lot of people will tell you that gold is rising in popularity and
Oh,
credibility in
yeah.
times of financial and political chaos, as we're seeing happening in the world. But of course, the problem with gold bars or slivers of gold is it's not tradable. You can't go into the shops to buy it, to spend it. But Jeremy's come up with a solution to that, as I understand. It's so he runs the CEOs of something called Goldback Incorporated, which basically incorporates very small bits of gold into what looks like banknotes, and you can go and spend it in the shop. So we get away from that problem with fiat money, which is basically that your money is just a piece of paper which can then supposedly be redeemed at your bank. So it creates on its supporters' view, a sort of credibility with money. At the same time, it's got portability. Is that right, Jeremy? Tell us a little bit about it, and tell us why you came into this. Tell us a little bit about why it's so important to have this kind of currency right now.
Okay. If you were to measure the value of the dollar in gold, the dollar's lost 99.6% of its value in the past 100 years.
Yes.
And during most of that time, it was on the gold standard.
Right.
So, I mean, that hits people. It hits people really hard if you're on a fixed income, if you're saving money for anything. The value of money is constantly draining, and I think the average person looks at the dollar as stable enough.
Mm.
Um, like we look at pricing, when I was growing up, they say, hey, if you have a six-figure job someday and you have it made, that's life on easy street. And now in the United States, a six-figure job like does not buy what it bought 30 years ago.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
It's still a good job, mind you, but it doesn't have quite the purchasing power as 30 years ago. And um, the result, or one of the results in the declining value of the dollar is just a decline in living standard
Right.
in the US and around the world. So, what the gold back is about is it's about putting gold into the money itself so it can have a stable value that does well. So, this is a gold back here. This is a series we did for the state of Florida. Florida recognized gold as money. So, we did a currency series for the state. It's an eight-piece series, and the idea is that every gold back has the correct amount of gold. So one has a thousandth of an ounce, and it's like a five here. This is a five we did for the state of Utah. Has five times the amount of gold, costs five times as much. So it's a very cash-like form of gold.
Hmm. So how many dollars is that one, and how many is the fiver?
So when we started, it was about $2 a gold back. This is 7 years ago. Today, it's about $8 a gold back. So the
Right.
five would be $40 and the one would be eight.
Right. And just can you go into certain states or shops in certain states and spend that? Yeah, like you can spend your dollars.
Yes. So cryptocurrency, they went out, Bitcoin folks, they went out and they signed up all these small businesses around the world that would take a Bitcoin as payment directly. And it was kind of a proof of concept. If you have a lot of people that take this, then clearly it's, not that risky because you can always spend it for goods and services directly, if nothing else. We went out and did the same thing. Today, we have more locations in the US that take gold backs directly as payment, so they're taking payment in gold, than Bitcoin does.
Right.
We have
That's
more
really,
locations in the US than there are locations that take Walmart gift cards.
Wow.
that
So
is huge.
it's gotten pretty big. It's every single state. We have state-specific gold backs for 9 states right now. I'd say maybe 60% of the businesses are in those 9 states. But we're rolling out four new states every single year. We think we're going to be in all 50 states in 10 years.
Right. And literally, what kind of institutions is it? Is it like gas stations, supermarkets,
Sure. I mean, a lot of it's small business owners, contractors, plumbers, electricians, people that'll fix your roof, dentists, landscapers. We do have some groceries chains. We do have some gas stations. There are metro areas that have hundreds of gold back accepting businesses where you could do maybe half your business in gold and just, wean yourself off of the fiat currency a little bit. Those places are starting to exist.
What I mean, and how do they calculate? I mean, do they go onto the internet and find the daily rate of gold or something? And then,
Uh, we have an exchange rate on goldback.com and a calculator for people.
right,
That
okay,
updates every day.
right. And what's your sales pitch then when you go in and try and persuade a new business to accept this, or legislators in a new state?
Well,
Why?
everyone's getting pinched with inflation.
Right,
Yeah, accepting dollars is expensive. I mean, you have to pay credit card
right,
processing fees. Maybe it's 3,
right,
4%,
right,
depending on the card. So people already like cash. Like a lot of business owners prefer cash. Cash is king. They'll charge you if you're not doing cash. They'll charge you extra.
right,
So the gold back it's a cash alternative,
right,
um, but it's simple to calculate, and I think business owners like it because the value of these tends to go up, whereas the dollar tends to go down.
right.
And small business owners are smart people.
Yeah,
Um, I was hoping that we'd get like 5 to 10% of small business owners in on this, that, maybe that was the group that really understood. We're finding that when we talk to small business owners directly, we're seeing about half are willing to take payment in gold, which is
mm,
way better than we thought it would be.
wow. Um, and you're talking to somebody who's a financial ignoramus, but how has gold improved its value the last 5 or 10 years, say? And what's the trend been? My guess would be that since the Ukraine war, it's soared. But you tell me.
It really depends how you measure value. If you measure value in dollars, everything has gone up in value tremendously. But, do they use meters in the UK? They do, don't they?
They
Both,
do.
They use
both.
both? All right. So imagine the foot. We're going to use the foot now.
Right.
That's 12 inches. Um, Imagine we made that foot a little bit shorter every year.
Yeah.
So every year the foot gets a little shorter, or the meter, we could
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Imagine we shaved a little piece of the meter off,
Hmm.
and that became our new standard of measuring things. And then you heard people start saying crazy things like, "Oh, I've grown taller this year.
Mm.
My house has gotten bigger. It used to be 100 square meters, and now it's 105 square meters. I wonder how much my house will grow."
Mm.
Right? Because the new
Yeah.
meter would be
Yeah. Yeah.
smaller,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
warps your perception of reality, and
Right.
that's kind of what you have with the dollar, where it's not a good universal measure of value. Everything is growing in relation to the dollar, but what's really happening is the dollar's losing
Yeah.
value.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
I would argue that the gold itself is a better unit, is a better measuring stick. So the dollar versus gold has gone down. The
Right.
dollar's going down, gold is staying where it's at.
Right. In other words, it's a secure, solid investment. But I mean, does it compared to stocks and shares or property? I mean, everyone they're going to make that
If
assessment.
you if you measure the stock market in gold, the stock market has been in a bear market since year 2000.
Mm.
Right. Wow.
And that's probably a better way to measure it, frankly.
Mm, wow. Um, but I mean, the idea of gold, of course, is that it's kind of redeemable anywhere. I mean, the whole planet accepts gold, but of course,
Yeah,
is it
sure.
tied to you guys? I mean, if you went bust, goldback.com, would that the spendability or the exchangeability of that currency go bust? Because
It's actually the opposite. So right now, if you go out into the market and you want to buy a thousandth of an ounce of gold, the one goldback is the cheapest one thousandth of an ounce gold product in the entire world, and it's not close.
mm,
The next closest might be, 12 or $13. This is 8. So for a fractional gold product, it's extremely cheap. In fact,
mm,
if we look at just how popular these have gotten in the past year, Um, in 2024, and I'll answer your question. 2024, we made as many gold backs as the US Mint made gold coins. So that was 2 years ago. In 2025, so the ratio is 1 to 1. So all the different denominations of gold backs versus all the different sizes of gold coins,
Mm.
we would make about 1 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
The following year in 2025, do you know what the ratio was?
No.
So gold prices went up,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
measure in dollars, 17 to 1.
Wow.
So we grew our market share by 1,600%, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we went bust and we stopped making gold backs, the price would go up
Mm-hmm.
because it's still the cheapest way to buy fractional gold, and the price would go up until
Mm.
it was about on par with other forms of fractional gold.
How do you are you verified? I mean, does how do people know that there's gold in those banknotes? I mean, how did you get credibility? Did you undergo some testing or what, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so
Yeah.
this technology has been out since about 2012. And there are quite a few third parties that will melt down gold backs and test the gold by weight. We have
Mm.
popular YouTubers that'll do it. You can hop on YouTube and people are melting these down and making sure the gold is in it.
Right.
Um, if we failed a single assay ever, the whole
Yeah.
thing would be over.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
It just corrupt the trust. So we're very careful to not only have all the gold in a gold back, we actually put in a little bit of extra gold. We put in an extra 1 or 2%. Just to never fail an
Do the
assay.
legislators, I mean, the people in the US government or the state legislatures, do they not worry that about competition against the dollar? I mean, that you represent something else that they can't control somehow. I mean, do you have political problems rolling this out?
I think that's something that really made the gold back easy in terms of that particular dynamic is cryptocurrency. Because when cryptocurrency came out, the cat's already out of the bag. People are already doing things other than the dollar. They're already buying into 1,000 different alternative currencies. It's
Exactly.
already a multi-trillion dollar space. And the regulators, as much as they've tried to slow down or stop crypto, they haven't had much success with it. And by comparison, Goldback is much smaller.
Mm,
I mean, sure, we're the number one minted gold product in the world right now, but that's really new.
mm,
Our market cap is only about a third of $1 billion if you
mm,
added up all the Goldbacks out there. So in terms of like size and scope, I don't even think it's on a lot of regulators.
mm,
It's not even on their radar. It's just another gold product, and gold itself is a multi-trillion dollar market.
mm. Martin.
If I
So,
may, as you say, uh, you're growing rapidly. Cryptocurrency is an enormous market. You're growing rapidly in it, but you're still small relative to it, but you are growing. What is the advantage that people see and experience from goldbacks compared to Bitcoin or other forms of cryptocurrency?
so there's a festival in a state called New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is famous for having a lot of kind of libertarian,
Yes,
types, alternative lifestyles, super pro freedom, a lot of activist types. There's the Free State Project. People are moving to New Hampshire to make it a freer state. And they have this great event that they do called Pork Fest, where thousands of these guys show up. And they were early adopters in cryptocurrency. They did just about every crypto you can imagine. They were doing Bitcoin when most people had never heard of Bitcoin. They were trading with it because they'd bring their businesses. There's hundreds of businesses that are at this at this festival. I got to talk to one of the business owners there, and he told me, he said, a few years ago, um, most of my transactions were in crypto. I did more crypto transactions than cash. And then the Goldback came out, and then in the very first year of Goldback being in New Hampshire, I'd say a third of my transactions were in Goldbacks. He says 2 years have gone down the line. He asked me, he says, "Do you know how many transactions I've taken in crypto versus Goldbacks at the last festival we did? You know what the ratio was?
Yeah, I don't know.
He
2 to
did
1.
over 200 transactions in Goldbacks and one in cryptocurrency."
interesting.
Now,
Wow.
this is an early adopter group, but like if you look at that, the ease of use, I could pull one of these out of my wallet. Hey, this is $8, hand it to you, and we're done.
Mm.
There's no app, there's no smartphone, there's no 40-digit password I got to type in. You got to type in your 40-digit password, and then I got to pay the gas fees and have it move over. Like it's just easy. And I think that's why goldbacks are, in terms of like the peer-to-peer, we're both here right now.
Mm.
It's a
Well,
it feels a lot like cash.
I think that's a strength. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety about people don't quite understand, and that's part of the problem. Europe and UK. I mean, UK is no, even despite Brexit, which happened, I think, 10 years ago today or something. Britain is following a very quite an authoritarian path on digital control and digital idea. And I know, isn't that a revolutionary? Is that the American Revolution painting you got behind you there? Um,
So this painting,
oh, that's the
I think it's
French
actually
Revolution,
French.
perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's French.
Okay. Well, there's a kind of revolutionary spirit in Europe right now, and there's a feeling that our
Good for
masters,
you
our political
guys.
leaders, are
About
trying to
time.
control us digitally, not least. And so there's a political angle, isn't there, to what you're doing? Because would you see yourself as liberating, leading question here, would you see yourself as liberating people from digital control?
Well, we know that there's an effort to kind of box people in with central bank digital currencies. Because if you do away with cash and everybody's in a digital system and you gotta use your face and your biometrics to get into it, you can lock people out of it. And they already do that in China. If you have a negative social credit score in China, you can't go to restaurants, you can't get a bus ticket, you can't get a home. People's credit scores go lower around you, people avoid you. It's like you're being digitally ostracized and cut off from your money at the same time, which makes it extremely risky to go against the government in China. And there are absolutely governments in the West that would love to have that kind of power over our lives. And cash is in the way because they can't control cash,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a lot harder to control. But like I said earlier, cash has lost 99% of its value in the last 100 years.
Mm,
We put up with it because, we haven't found something that's obviously better. But that's what we're trying to do at Goldback. We're trying to make a better version of cash
mm,
that I think fundamentally at its core does free people. It puts power in the hands of individuals because it gives them something that they can trade that people universally want.
mm. Really, can you fold those things and put them in your wallet?
You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. We actually have a wallet that's a it's a
Right.
holds it flat so they don't wear out so bad. So there are
Yeah.
Goldback wallets you can buy, or just
Okay.
about any woman's wallet works too.
Okay.
do you find variations, fluctuations in among the many states in the US where you make penetration and growth more rapidly, where there is more openness, or where people in general have their minds closed to it, or the state governments are more hostile to you? Is there a significant fluctuation across the US in that way, in that
Oh,
pattern?
absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, there are people in states and areas that are far more receptive to goldbacks than others. We tend to prioritize states where we think we're going to have a really easy time and the red carpet's been rolled out for us. So, like I said, we've done 9 states. We surprised everybody. We're going into California in about a month and a half,
Well,
and nobody
well,
thought we could do California. So, how are you doing California? Well, in 2015, California passed the Alternative Currencies Act, which opened the door for local currencies in the state of California. It wasn't necessarily designed or meant for gold, but the goldback is it's a local currency that is made out of gold. So a lot of the left-leaning states in the U.S. have very friendly laws around local currency, and a lot of right-leaning states has very friendly laws around gold. And we can use either sets of laws to, do really well.
I find that extremely interesting because do you find also that the sense I strongly get from you personally, as well as the way the Go Back operates, is that this is a practical and pragmatic way of doing business. And I've been I'm originally from Ireland, And in my many decades in this country, I'm struck by how much more ideological and theoretical we have become. I was raised to see that the strength of America compared with Europe and Britain, England especially, was that Americans are pragmatic, can do, into business, don't get their, use the old Monty Python joke, don't get excited all the time over issues of Cartesian dualism, of our abstract philosophy. But in the last 30 or 40 years, America, I think, has become much more ideological and polarized. By contrast, what you're pointing out is that this currency is practical for, across the country, it's fungible, and it works where theoretical Mickey Mouse models with Rube Goldberg complications do not work. It strikes me as being simple and straightforward and flexible at the same time. Is that a reasonable assessment?
People really like it. There's a reason in
Thank
7 years
Yeah.
we've surpassed every other company and every other product in the entire world for mintages. We have minted more goldbacks than anything else, and that's just the market. The market likes what we're doing, and we've barely just started. We're so early in this.
Mm.
I mean, like I said, our plan is to have 50 states in 10 years. We only have 9 states right now. It took 7 years to get to 9 states, and now we're speeding up.
Yes.
And we're seeing our market share just grow by leaps and bounds. I mean, we've already produced more product this year than we did last year, and we're only halfway through the year. We're less than
Therefore,
halfway through the year.
therefore, your growth rate and therefore presumably your profit margins too, but certainly the volume and value of what you're doing is growing at an exponential rate. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, what about international expansion?
We are talking to international partners. Goldbacks outside the US need to have a different legal structure. We basically have to just do them as a bullion product. Um,
Mm.
because other countries they understand bullion, they understand gold bullion. In the US, goldbacks are negotiable instruments.
Mm.
That's a law that's been passed by all 50 states. So, goldback is very similar to like a gift card,
Hmm.
where, there's a network of businesses that take them and, it's not cash, but it's tied to cash. There's a link there.
Mm.
So there is a legal structure that works really well for goldbacks in the US. Outside the US, it's just
Mm.
kind of a tradable form of bullion.
Mm. What do you
Um,
what are the motifs on your do you have famous people or do you have birds or what?
so we do virtues. So in this painting behind me, that is Liberty, during the French Revolution, and she's a little
Yeah.
bare-breasted there. But what we've done in the West, and we've done this for thousands of years, I mean, we've done this going back to the Romans and the Greeks, is we've personified virtues as female figures. And every goldback has a virtue on it. And we've gone kind of beyond the 12 or 15 or 20 virtues or whatever. I think we have a little bit more than that, just so we don't get repetitive with how many designs we do. But we do female virtues, and then we mingle that with state iconography and history.
Right. Oh, cool.
So national parks, famous events, state birds, state flower, state tree, um, those types of things, state history.
Where do people go if they want to start using these things? Do they have to apply to you guys, send in a check for, I don't know, a certain amount of dollars, and then they get a certain number of gold backs in return?
No, it's a little better than that. We're a wholesaler. We sell to about 700 different distributors around the world. Yeah, I know we got one in UK. It's like Next Day Bullion, I think. If you're in the UK, I'd recommend buying somewhere local so you're not, paying to transit these things over the ocean. In the US, there's if you go to goldback.com, you'll see a list. You can buy them local. We have, like I said, hundreds of local coin shops that sell them. You can buy them online. We even have ATMs that are dispensing goldbacks now.
Wow.
We have over 100 ATM locations. It's one of our other distributors.
Well,
Do you have market penetration in Canada? Are you looking at it? And among countries around the world where awareness of goldbacks and use of them are spreading, which ones are the largest or the fastest growing markets?
So we are seeing more growth in the UK. We're seeing a lot of growth in Australia. Uh,
Ah,
we're
that
seeing
makes sense.
growth in Canada, so kind of the Anglosphere. Um, we're starting to get into other foreign markets too. We're starting to see more activity in Latin America. But I want to say 90% of our business is still inside the United States.
Sure.
Um, I don't have amazing data on that, but
Mm,
that's, kind of what we're seeing with web traffic and stuff. I think that could change a lot over the next 10 years.
mm,
Just because, for $8, I mean, anyone can afford this. In fact, we have the smallest gold back. We came out with this a few months ago,
mm,
and this is a quarter gold back, 1/4,000th of an ounce.
mm,
Right now, these retail for under $2. Now, if you wanted to buy a bar with a comparable amount of gold in it, it's a fraction of your fingernail in size, super small, not very satisfying to look at, doesn't have any counterfeiting features. We've never seen a credible looking counterfeit gold back ever. These are made through a very expensive process. Um, so not only, well, anyway, so it's under $2.
mm,
Um, the nearest size bar runs for about $6. So we're running gold in fractional amounts that are a third the price that previously the market supported.
mm,
And who can't afford $2?
mm,
Is there any country, is there any nationality, is there anywhere in the world that can't afford $2
mm.
for gold?
Okay, I'm going to just we've got a last question. Apparently, I don't know, Gresham's law that says that bad money drives out good, and if you're such a good store of value, people will be spending their dollars rather than their gold backs. Is that a problem? And is that something that you've thought about?
So I'll give you an example of Gresham's law. In 1965, the US government stopped putting silver in the coinage, and they started doing kind of clad, base metal coinage with the same designs. And what we saw over the next 10, 20, 30 years was Gresham's law, where the silver coinage had a higher value than the face value, and people took it out of circulation and they circulated
Yes.
the cheaper stuff because they wanted to keep the better stuff, right?
Mm,
So if this was $1, not one gold back,
mm,
$1,
mm,
and we said, okay, there's a regular dollar that has no gold, and there's a gold back dollar that has gold, I think you would see Gresham's law. But because they're not the same thing, I don't think you will, because if you're a business owner, you'd prefer to get this.
mm,
And a lot of people would prefer to have these rather than dollars because the dollar's a falling knife.
mm,
If you're going to use dollars, you have to have dollars.
mm,
Gresham's law is when you have like two coins that are supposedly the same value, but they aren't really.
mm,
And that's not what you have going on with gold backs, where we're
mm.
not we're not dollars. They're
Right.
something else.
Okay, we've got to wind up there, gentlemen. Is there anything that you want to say, Martin, very quickly?
Uh, yes, I'm impressed, Jeremy. Thank you.
Excellent.
Hopefully, come back soon, both to make further aspects of the case and also to comment on developments, because there is one other thought I'd like to leave with, and that's this on your business model. It's very unique because in the unstable world we're in, virtually all business models are far too bullish, unrealistic, optimistic.
Mm,
And when anything goes wrong, business models from GM to Bitcoin can go down the tubes. But in your case, you have an enormous amount of resilience built into your product. The worse things get for anyone else, the more the value of your product goes. Is that
yeah.
misleading, or is that an
It's
essential principle?
I think so. The worse things get out in the world, the better. I mean, we launched Goldback about 6 to 9 months before COVID happened in 2019.
Ah,
So we launched in 2019. COVID happened 9 months later, and
So
the first
I've
few
got it. We
months were
got 30 seconds left. So basically,
okay.
you
Yeah,
covered in times of,
yeah,
but come on again
it
soon.
did well.
Excellent.
Sure.
Thank you so much. People will be flocking to your website after this. Very interesting. Very interesting story. Very good. Thank you very much,
thank you,
gentlemen.
Jeremy.
Oh,
We'll put the
if you go to
links in the notes.
freegoldback.com,